2013 GSTL Season 1. NS Hosa, Axiom Acer, MVP, FX Open, LGIM, Azubu, Prime, Startail.
Sniper takes the first win, putting MVP in the lead, but LGIM has chosen Yoda, a Terran player, and historically speaking in the GSTL, we have had a lot of Terran all-kills. We'll see if Yoda can follow suit and get a multiple kill at the very least.
4 Terran all-kills so far, 1 Protoss all-kill. That's the score in this season. And now we have Yoda, a very strong player, 20 years old, Sniper being 18 himself, therefore is junior. And it's going to be interesting to see, Squirtle has a good time up there. It's going to be interesting to see if Yoda now can change the score and equalize it, because this is a really, really strong Terran player that we are going to witness right now. Yoda definitely one of the best of his trade, but Sniper on the other hand, a former champion that already showed us against First that he is in quite decent shape.
Very much true. I'm looking forward to this one. See if Sniper can take out a Terran player, and not only just any Terran player, but the strongest Terran player LGIM has to offer. Then he can play, again, a matchup that he's already shown he's pretty good at, Zerg versus Protoss.
Yoda was sent out once, and well, he was sent out against one Zerg player so far in this season. That was up in the first week against Lucky. He took the game, lost then to a Hurricane, but it was still... He's still being used as a sniper, yeah, that's what I basically want to say, especially against Zerg. He's really strong, so that's something that they want to show today too. He was also the one Terran player that took down Scarlet and Mia, so against Zerg, he is really, really strong. He has a history a little bit in the GSTL of being the sniper against Zerg, which is kind of interesting considering the names that we have here.
Yeah. Sniper getting sniped, maybe, we'll find out. Yoda is such a strong player. Do not underestimate his Terran versus Zerg. And his map choice is Acheron Waste, 2-player map. We've seen a lot of late game on this map though. Drop play, very, very difficult for a Zerg to deal with when it comes to late game. Mines as well. This has been the bane of Zerg and Zerg versus Terran. Can Sniper figure it out? Will he use Locusts? Will he use Infested Terrans?
I would like to see really a few timings here, maybe something new. There have been a lot of Swarm House experiments, especially in this matchup. Always depending, of course, on what exactly the Terran player does. But we're gonna find out right now. We'll see from both of them. Yoda up against Sniper here at the GSTL 2013 Season 1. Team MVP up against LGIM, brought to you by Power. The 20-year-old Terran player for Team LGIM starts to the top left. In red, we have
LGIM Yoda.
Star Wars fan, it appears.
Yep. Came out twice against Zerg this season. Defeated actually 3 players, but he was always sent out when his team was down against Zerg. Defeated Lucky, Scarlet, and Mia. Very, very strong sniper against Carrick and Best. And one of them is starting at the top right, cross position on a kill, and we have in blue for Team MVP.
MVP Sniper.
Up 1-0 so far, playing a completely different matchup now. Matchup that in the GSTL specifically, many Zergs have failed to win.
If Sniper actually loses this match, the best thing that MVP could do is send out a Protoss player, because every single time Yoda was sent out by his team against Zerg, he won his matches, but as soon as he faced a Protoss player, he just did not win those games. So he seems to be a little bit weak in the matchup from what we can judge right now in Heart of the Swarm. And with Week, we of course also admit that we have very limited data to rely upon in Heart of the Swarm just yet, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, every time you guys look at these stats, for example, Yoda's stats on the screen right now, take it with a grain of salt, because these are all Wings of Liberty stats for the most part, so they're not as significant as they may appear.
Hatch first, of course, for Sniper, no surprise there. He also sent out a very early drone, and this is really important because it's going to determine what he's going to do from now on. The information that he wants to gather here is if there is gas or not. And if you send out your drone, let's say at 10, then you are able to get into the main base of your opponent. If you're not able to get in there, this can tell also quite a lot, because it means that your opponent was banking a lot of minerals and even cutting down the SCV production a little bit to build the second supply depot.
Yeah.
So with a drone at 10, you always will be able to get into your main base, because Terran players just don't do that.
They can't. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we saw just now. I mean, there's no way for him to deny that. Maybe he could have trapped the drone inside afterwards if he had taken his gas to the right side. This is something that a lot of people discuss, but it doesn't actually get used too often, is just purposely taking the gas as far away to sea.
Yeah. It's really a matter of preference whether you want to stick around in your opponent's main base or if you try to escape with the harvesters. That's something that is really completely up to the player. What we have now for Yoda is, of course, also not a real surprise, given that we are in Heart of the Swarm, where Reapers are such a good and versatile unit in the early game. Yoda is even going into double Reaper right now. This will give him, of course, a lot of opportunities to snipe a few drones and put a little bit of pressure onto the Zerg player. But Sniper is now getting gas, and it's going to be really interesting to see if he is relying now on a build that completely centers around speed, or if we will see a bit of a roach aggression.
Just look at how the timings work out for a Zerg player right now as well. He's got speed started right as the Reaper appears in his base. And yeah, the Reaper can kite the Lings for forever, but he can buy just enough time with those Lings with good micro for the Queens to pop out. And once the Queens are there, the Reaper is not going to be able to accomplish too much more than just being annoying.
What the Terran player now knows, with him being in the know that speed has been started, is that he is not going to face one of those early Roach timings that we have. What is still an option for the Zerg is going into Roach Baneling and also into a Roach with Speedling follow-ups, which is really rare, but we've seen it just in the last few weeks, so it's still something that he has to be cautious about, and that's where the two Reapers come into play. But he can really now rely on the information that he has and be like, okay, well, at least they're not going to hit me early on around the 6-7 minute mark with Roaches.
Yeah, nice snipe on that drone. He wants to kill a few more Zerglings if he can, because he committed 100 gas to this, no less. One Harvester still in the gas right now for Sniper, so he could switch at any time to the aggression, but the window for that is pretty much closing right now.
One of the things that Yoda has now to find out is if there's maybe a little bit of a delayed Roach timing. Remember when Scarlet was playing, she used in one of her games also a timing where you go for 1-1 upgrades for your Roaches. It's also a style that Hyun and Symbol are very fond of. You usually get your third base, but you don't saturate it just yet, and then you push out. But we have only 3 Queens here, so with all those Lings, he made the decision of sacrificing a few more lava to get the Zerglings out instead of committing to a 4th Queen. So the Lings will actually give him a little bit more map presence, especially when finally then the upgrade for speed is done and he can surround maybe a Hellion or 2 or put them up against the wall.
Yeah, really smart positioning with the Lings as well. You know, he knows that a frontal attack is going to fail at this point with Hellions abound, but he can go and check for Reapers, make sure there's no Reapers on the watchtowers or at the positions in the middle of the map where you could see, even though there is no watchtower, you know, you have that high ground vision.
Immediately upon realizing that Yoda has quite a few Hellions on the map, we now have 12 additional Zerglings being built. That's something that you want to avoid as Zerg. You want to drone up as heavily as you can, especially when taking this 3rd base. But he saw the Hellions and he was like, oh, okay, what exactly are you doing here? I need at least a few more units to deal with this. And this made him commit to more Zerglings, so he has less lava available for drones.
Yeah, very true. And he's trying to make use of those extra Lings even before the Hellions come up his ramp to destroy the rocks. You know, you got to make use of every Zergling you make since you're losing that larva. Hellions try to sneak by, but there's way too many Zerglings for him to actually commit to a drone attack. He's just trying to keep the Zerg occupied, force him to make as many Lings as possible, like you said, because every pair of Zerglings made is one less drone. He needs to pull those eBay makers back to the mineral line. Yoda does.
Yeah, he definitely does. The one thing that we see now for Sniper, though, is a very safe build. With the Spinecrawler at the front, he's now in a position where he can slowly move forward and therefore zone out those Hellions, but he still needs to be a little bit careful. The Reaper and the Hellions in the early game, they can do quite a lot to control the Zerg player's movements. And this is what Yoda's trying to do. He's limiting his opponent's movements, and at the same time he's going into bio upgrades, and of course the Widow Mines basically replace the siege tanks these days.
Exactly. We see very rarely players go for siege tanks, except for Roach defense sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the players really just get a 1 or 2 siege tanks out there, and then suddenly they're completely safe against Roaches. It's just how well you studied your opponent's play and if you know what's coming.
Yeah. Well, that Spinecrawler's right on top of that MVP shield. and he's got to be very careful with that Queen. He does pull it back at the last second. Trying to go for a flank here with the Zerglings. This is risky, but you know what? If the Hellions move a little bit further forward, he can get us around and kill all these units. That would be huge for Sniper.
Yeah, but it's a little bit risky with all that we have in position right now for Yoda. Yoda would really have to commit to this.
Yeah, you would have to walk onto the creep, essentially, for this to actually work out.
Yeah, exactly. But the only thing that Sniper really wants to do is make sure that his third base is kind of safe, and that if Yoda tries to put pressure on the third, he can go in with the Zerglings, cut off the retreat path, and then take all these units down. But Yoda is no fool. He's really playing the safe. What he wants to do is have map control, get his third base up, and make sure that he has a really strong force to hit with later on. You can really see that he's committing to the Widow Mines now. So both of them playing a pretty laid-back game where they just focus on their economy, which is also something where Yoda has to be careful. You don't want to leave a Zerg player alone for too long.
Exactly. Yoda, though, he's got his third base up, and the Zerg sees a bunker over there. He can assume that there's actually a Command Center lander when he sees the bunker. It's very difficult for him to actually engage this position with all the Widow Mines that Yoda has in place. So Yoda on the same economy as his Zerg opponent with those mules, that's going to work out for him. That's where these mules come into play. Oh, the Queen in danger, does lose 2 of the tumors.
And here come the Zerglings finally committing, trying to cut off all those Hellions that surround them. The Widow Mines are not there just yet. One of them not doing too much. And now the Hellions trying to retreat, but a lot of them already gone.
Yeah, he loses so much of his Hellions there. And the Link pull away was so beautiful. You know, he just kind of grabbed a few of those. He saw the Widow Mine target and was able to get them away. Now he can kill the Widow Mine. That could have been disastrous if the Widow Mine had hit a different pair of Zerglings.
Yeah, exactly. And we already have the Overlord speed upgrade done, which also the Overseers benefit from, so they're a little bit faster to the rescue when there is a mine to detect.
Yeah, it's so important to have that upgrade. Now we're going to see a medevac attempt to go through here. This is very unfortunate for Yoda because the watchtower is held and the mutas are already out, so he should be able to clean this up. Even if he drops the units out, the Lings are ready.
And where's the speed boost? He needs to get the afterburners, and there they are. But here is all the ground army, and there's no way to save this drop.
Yeah, doesn't even look like he's going to kill a single Zergling there. But this gives the Terran an opportunity to move forward here. Yoda is actually taking control of the left side of this ramp.
Yeah. Creep spread, of course, also now becoming really important for the Zerg. Here comes the Widow Mine with a good shot.
Yep. Uh-oh, these are going to be disastrous, potentially. Wow, really nice splitting there.
Very nice splitting. Now all the Widow Mines are gone, and this is devastating for Yoda. Suddenly a lot of his defenses are completely obliterated. He needs to be able to defend this third base, and with all those Widow Mines already in cooldown, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, really nice splits by Sniper, but he just does not quite have the Baneling count that he needs. Now he's got a few Lings. He's going to commit here.
He's going in with the Zerglings. All those guys on the same upgrades. 1-1 against 1-1.
Yep, and it looks like from here, he's just going to pick off as many Widow Mines as he can and get out.
And this is awesome for him. You want to keep this Widow Mine count low, and currently there are only 3 on the map. That was really annoying for Yoda. Of course, he can crank out the Widow Mines with the Reactor 2 at a time, but still, losing this many early on in the game, that's something that you're not too happy about when you're a Terran player.
Yeah, it's just, it gives you a fear that, you know, if there's that commitment to a massive Ling Baneling attack, with a few mutas mixed in, you could actually just lose all your SCVs at your third.
You know, I'm a little bit surprised that we don't see a Viking for Yoda. Usually you see a Terran player go into at least 1 Viking to clear the Overlords. But if you look at the minimap, there are Overlords everywhere, which makes it so much harder for Yoda to drop. But he did not build a single Viking to deal with them.
Yeah, it's almost as if he just wants to attack with brute force only. Speaking of brute force, he moves in here. Enough Banelings on creep to where he can't push any further, but at the same time the Zerg can't chase.
Yep. And we have now a +2/+2 for both of these guys.
Very even in the upgrade count.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's actually going to decide. Look at that. Perfect. Look at that +3 coming out for Yoda. Like, not even a millisecond after +2 finished.
And did you see the Overlord the Legends just showed? The Overlord sees the Medivac leaving the base. The second Overlord sees the Medivac hovering to the top right. He can send those few Mutalisks to the top right whenever he wants to. And there is still no Viking to at least take out the Overlords that are close by.
Yeah. Now here comes the Burrow. He's actually got a nice split here. He's taken out a lot of the creep and a good split on his Marines as well. His Baneling hit's not very cost efficient.
Yeah, one of those Banelings has actually really hit home, but the other ones are not doing too well here. Not trading too efficiently, but the rest of the army is moving in. Good job trying to make sure that he catches 1 or 2 of the Medivacs, and he will.
Yep, it looks like he's going to catch the money Medivac, taking out 3 Marines, but he has to be careful. Those Widow Mines, he unburrows them at the worst possible second.
Yeah, and this is getting worse and worse here for Yoda in this situation. He is actually a little bit ahead in, or nearly at the same level in overall supply, but his drops are not doing anything with the Overlord coverage that we have for Sniper and the added Spine Crawlers at the bases.
Yeah, he's trying to find a good angle here. Finally gets one, but it's going to be only for a few seconds. The Mutas and the Lings clean this up instantly. He's trying to clear up creep in the middle of the map, so this is a multi-pronged harassment that we're seeing from him, but at the same time, it's just being dealt with by Sniper like a champ. He's not really struggling with this at all.
Sniper's dodging of the Widow Mines and his positioning with the units really reminds me of Life's play that we've seen at MLG when he was up against Flash. This is really excellent play against Widow Mine Terran. The one thing that is a little bit critical for Sniper is that +3/+3 is now halfway done for the Terran player, whereas Sniper himself does not have Hive yet.
Yeah, this is true.
So he can't go into +3/+3 for a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, so that upgrade advantage is going to take its toll. But before that, a lot of SCVs are going to be taken up by this Mutalisk block. He's got no Thors, of course, and with no Widow Mines in place to defend, this is pretty easy for the Zerg to do.
He's a little bit afraid that there are Widow Mines at the bottom left. That's why he heads into the main base now. But with only a few Marines present, he can take them out and even continue into the next mineral line. He is scared off by this one turret, but he's doing a great job here with the harass.
Yeah, really nicely done. But at the same time, Yoda is starting to put a dent in that Mutalisk count, but he had to stim so many times and run around his base, losing a lot of his spawning Marines. He's continually down about 20 supply in this game, but that upgrade lead that he has is really going to hit home if he decides to push right now, and he's got an army large enough to do it.
The upgrades, those are the problems for Sniper, will be very soon. But I have to say that I feel that actually the play of the Zerg here is really inspiring.
It is. It's excellent play.
Exactly. He drop plays. Zerg players have been struggling everywhere, in every league with drop play of a good Terran player, and Yoda is one of the best. But Sniper shut it down from the beginning, and now he already is on Hive. He's going in 3-3, Adrenal Glands coming up, he's going into Ultralisks too. So this is a really solid play by Sniper. Yoda has to be careful. He is an upgrade lead, he has a decent position here, but it's not one where he's too comfortable.
Oh, especially not after losing these two drops full of units. And look at that, the Livingston catches up. But a huge 3-3 force moves in, and the upgrade is ready for the Widow Mine.
That was beautiful play once again, dodging those Widow Mine shots. We're going to talk about this in a second. While the Zerg player is now giving chase and trying to run down the ramp.
Yeah, and with all the medevacs dying here, look at all the Marines, they're so low on hit points.
Did you see what he did with Widow Mines though? Well, we have this drop happening at the right side. I just want to come back to this for a second. He sees 3 Widow Mines. They burrow extremely fast with the drilling claws, and he, upon realizing that there are a few, leaves 3-4 Zerglings at the same position and then moves back.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, Sniper is showing us some of the best Widow Mine versus Widow Mine control you've ever seen. He's keeping the medevac low with his mutas, and he's just setting up traps everywhere with Banelings. He's very map aware.
And now we have the Ultralisk coming out for Sniper, who's going into all the upgrades that are available to him. Even going now into Infestors for the Fungals, but Yoda is pushing out, and at this point he still has a lead in the upgrades.
Yeah, his Marines are just so low on hit points, though. He's struggling to get the medevac count back up. He just doesn't have the resources to really do that. As you can see, he's really low on minerals here. He's trying to cut down and make as many Widow Mines as possible, but the Ultras are already out.
And once again, we had a nice Widow Mine play here by Sniper, making them all go into cooldown immediately, and now suddenly all those Ultralisks can do the damage. This is just a point in the game where Yoda, he wants to be aggressive. He knows he has an upgrade lead. This is his chance, but he knows he can't move forward. This must be so frustrating for him.
Absolutely is, especially with all the stims he's had to use with his low medevac count. His units are always in the low. As you can see highlighted here by Legend, so many of those Marines already using a stim. It's going to take forever for them to get back up, and that uses all the medevac energy before the fight even happens.
5th base for Sniper coming up. He's also going into a Greater Spire. He wants to have all the options in the late game now that he's building up this bank. So this is really, really meticulous play by Sniper. The creep spread still going strong. Spreading the creep here, and his Overlord scouting is perfect. Still no Viking for Yoda, who at this point can't even afford to get one.
This is just, Yoda is being dominated here by Sniper. He's just going to run in head first into the Widow Mines this time. He feels he has enough Banelings. There's a huge Mutalisk block as well. The Infestors want to connect with the funnels, and they do.
The Fungal is good, and now the Ultralisks are closing the distance, taking down a lot of those Marines, just clipping through them one by one. The supply dropping, of course, for Yoda quite a bit, and suddenly his income is also being attacked. This was perfect play by Sniper, the best engagement possible.
Yeah, this is how to deal with Widow Mines and how to deal with Dropships 101 being shown here by Sniper, and he is just going to come in here. Looks like he wants to commit to the planetary.
And guys, don't forget, this is a Zerg Sniper. In the GSTL, Yoda has a perfect record against Zerg so far. Every single time his team was up against a good Zerg play, he was sent out. He took down Scarlet, he took down Mia, he was able to take down Lucky, all those guys. Now, of course, he's up against the former champion on a bit of a different level, but still, this is Yoda we're talking about.
Yeah, this is insane. I feel like part of the critical early game was when so many Widow Mines were sniped so carefully by Sniper. That allowed his Mutalisk more freedom because he knew there were less Widow Mines to worry about. His Mutalisk count got higher and higher. Then he was able to harass the economy while still dominating map control and defending against the drops with a lot of stack defense, which he continues to build as we speak.
5 mining bases against 4. Now he's moving in. Those Widow Mines not enough. The Baneling's moving in, and Yoda is in so much trouble.
Good fungals on the medevacs as well. He can't even move. He has to drop units into Ultralisk. Down now about 70 supply, and this time he could actually just break through and kill that planetary. Will he decide to do it? Going up the ramp is not the right choice. He turns to the right, goes for that planetary, and he should be able to kill it.
That planetary doesn't stand a chance. The Ultralisk surrounded by Marines. The fungal traps the Ultralisk, but it does so much damage. Doesn't even matter. The planetary gone. Yoda with a GG. And Sniper laying down the law here. 2-0 up against Team LGIM.
Really nice play by Sniper. Some of the best Zerg versus Terran we've seen in Heart of the Swarm.
It
was just perfect splits against every Widow Mine. Good drop defense, and part of that, of course, was the problem for Yoda not making the Viking to clean up the Overlord, so he's able to see every drop before it comes. His Mutalisk count gets so high that he could just pick off medevacs left and right. Then he forced a lot of stims with his mutas. He uses every tool in the Zerg arsenal. He's got Ultras with fungals, and he's already got a Greater Spire finish that he can switch into at any time.
His play against the Widow Mines was fantastic. Seeing them in the composition of his opponent, he moves in and he splits while they are burrowing, leaving a few right on top of the Widow Mines so that the shots go up. And if as a Terran player you don't micro your Widow Mines, they will always lock down on the closest target. And those were only like 3 Zerglings. That's all he could kill. Then the rest moves in, surrounds the Terran army. He tries to escape with the Medivacs, but the Mutalisks are there to pick off the scraps. So that was very well done. And Sniper just in excellent shape today.
We saw, so many of those engagements go into Sniper's hair because his Mutalisk count allowed him to pick off the medevacs, the splitting against the Widow Mines, and it's impossible to target your Widow Mines when you're also splitting your Marines against Banelings at the same time. You can't do both. You kind of have to make a choice, and you're like, I gotta save all my Marines. Yeah, all my Widow Mines are burrowed, but I can't target 6 different Widow Mines 6 different ways while also splitting my Marines against the Banelings that are rolling in. So Yoda just... his Widow Mine count was low from the beginning because Sniper was able to pick so many of those off so carefully in the mid-game. Right when the Widow Mines started to come out, he just picked them off left and right. Carefully runs a Ling through, gets the Overseer and the Mutas, kills that Widow Mine, and keeps moving forward, almost like cleaning up creep.
I really think that one of the big mistakes that Yoda made in this game is that he didn't build that Viking.
Yeah.
I feel he was a little bit in the zone and didn't really think about it, but it would really have helped him with the drop play. He attempted to drop about 3 or 4 times, and every time he was spotted early, the drops were taken out or at least deflected. So this was one thing that he really struggled with. And as a Terran player, if you can use those afterburners well, and you are good with your multitasking, which Yoda is, then drop play is so good against Zerg. So that's something that he didn't do in this game, and it definitely helped Yoda.
Yeah, it really did.
Sorry, it helped, of course, Sniper. Yoda was struggling with executing the drop play properly.
Excellent control, though, on those Widow Mines, I think, was what won the game for Sniper, just from the beginning. And when he kept those Widow Mine numbers low, that's what allowed his Mules to do more damage. You could see he was a little bit careful, a little bit cautious. He was worried that sometimes there might be a Widow Mine here or not, but once he kind of explored around with a few of his Mules, he was like, oh, there's no Widow Mines here. That was really, really well done. And what sort of race are we going to see LJM throw at him this time?
Will we maybe even... Oh, we have once again a Protoss player. Look at that. This is going to be an interesting one.
Yep, Youngwa coming out.
First already lost. The Chipmunk Terran to the top apparently has a really good time looking at this.
Yeah.
Sniper looks a little bit more concerned, but he already did a good job today. 2 wins so far.
And the map choice for Youngwa is actually Whirlwind. So a big map he's going to be playing here. When he wants to play the late game, I can only assume going into a map like this, we could see a 3-base timing push from Whirlwind. Look at Youngwa's statistics in the GSTL, 22 and 8. This guy's an all-killer, and he's a dangerous one.
Talking about all-killers, we now have Sniper with 2 wins so far, and of course he's still 2 map wins away from getting an all-kill here, which would be very impressive against LGIM. But he would also be the first Zerg this season to achieve an all-kill. 4 Terrans and 1 Protoss were able to pull one off.
Yeah, very true.
Sniper has it in him to get an all-kill. I feel that against LGIM it will be asking for a bit too much, but still, so far he's doing an excellent job today.
When it comes to all-kills this season, you can never count anybody out with all the all-kills we've had.
Yeah, with the best of 7 format, it's just so much easier to get an all-kill compared to last season or last year where we had a best of 9 format. Keep in mind, guys, that we have a round-robin system. As soon as we're heading into the playoffs, the best of 9 will be back.
Yes. So that's when things get really serious. Look at MVP looking not so stressed out, even though his team is down 2 points. But this win is very necessary for LGIM. They do not want to lose here. This is a very, very important moment for their team. You want to have the best indicator possible, and even if they are able to win after losing Younghwa, they're only going to be able to get +1 out of this.
You know, I'm a little bit thinking about who might be the last player for LGIM if Younghwa loses now. We still have good Zergs on the bench. We have, for example, Bjall. We have, of course, Hango, aka Sira. But we also have players like Squirrel that are still sitting there. So,
yeah, you know, to me, if Younghwa loses, I say Losira, but that's my personal pick. But that's a tough choice. There's so many good players on the bench they could choose from.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what plan we've got here going into Whirlwind. Younghwa, it's his map choice. It's a great late game Protoss versus Zerg player. Great late game player in all matchups, in fact. And it looks like he wants to go for that, choosing a map like Whirlwind. The third base is a little bit exposed as a Protoss, but if you can lock that down, you have so much potential on this map.
Well, the game is about to start, and we're going to find out if Sniper takes another win here at the GSTL, or if Younghwa is able to put finally a point onto the scoreboard for Team LJM. Incredible Miracle needs a win. Now that Sniper already took out 2 of the players, and yeah, LJM has a strong lineup, but still, now they're struggling a little bit. And Team MVP, always strong in the GSTL, is on the best way to achieve a victory here on Week 3, the GSTL 2013. Team MVP versus LJM, brought to you by Call on One.